here. Anyway, I hope you can see my screen. Thank you very much for your support. As I was saying before the others you came on, there were 53 tickets snapped up for the event, but we all know what it's like trying to get people in one place at one time online, and it's like herding cats. So this is why I always record these things, and I will share it with people. And there's a few people out of the UK who expressed an interest and are booked on, so that's why I am recording it. So this is one of my favourite webinars that I do. It's only the second time I've done this. I've changed it since last time as well. It's always going to go well. But I tell you, one of the reasons I enjoy doing this, it just flows really well. It's great clarity for me. It's a good refresher. But also, it's not just down to me to do all the talking. You are involved to do some work as well. So this is why I like this one. Have you all got your success blueprints, your new success blueprints? Have you downloaded them, printed them out, got them electronically? Excellent. Yes. I know, Kathy, you had the original version. I'm sure you did, Martin, as well. We need to scrap that because I've got a new enhanced version, which I'll share with you, Kathy. I'll go through it with you tomorrow. So the reason why I'm running this right now, so I ran it previously back about the second week of January, went down really, really well, but I'm running it again now because I can see there's chaos out there. The world's very, very chaotic. And also we're fast approaching the end of the first half of 2022. You know, it's going to be, is it the first on Friday? It's hard to believe it's going to be July already, especially looking at the weather. And we're fast approaching good old half too. So it's a good time to stop and reflect on where you've been so far in the year and what you want to do for the rest of the year. Do we need to change any targets? Have you got targets in place? So many people lie and say they've done a business plan. I've got all my targets there. And when you ask them to see it, and Julie, I'm sure you see this, they've never got a plan in place. So if you haven't got a plan, this is the time to get a plan in place. If you've got a plan in place already, it's the time to review it and have a look and refocus and basically get cracking. I'm also seeing a lot of people who are burnt out or just extremely tired, seem to be very, very stressed. And it's the case for them to draw a line in the sand, stop, pause, reflect, and make some changes and crack on. And it's all about making 2022 the best year you possibly can and the best year it's ever been. You'll come to find I like my quotes and I like my sayings. So one of the first ones I'm going to use today is the old quote about business is either growing or dying. And I know exactly which one I prefer for my business. I want to be growing all the time and not shrinking, contracting, dying. It's just not what it's about. So it's all about developing ourselves as people first, and then we can develop our businesses secondly. So I'll ask you a question. How has your year been so far? So 29th of June today, how has your year been so far? You're very welcome to mute yourself. You're welcome to type it in the chat, whatever. You'll find that I will always make my events as interactive as I possibly can. I want you to get as much out of it as you can. So that's why I love using Zoom like this and just keep it interactive. So how has 2022 treated you so far?
Disappointing.
Okay.
Yeah. Difficult.
Okay.
As the Chinese proverb, we're in interesting times, and it's tiring.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Okay, interesting. Good to hear where you are. So you'll be glad to know I don't talk about myself in any way at all on this event. It's not about me in any way at all. Kathy, you know quite a lot. Martin, you know a bit more. Julie, you know very little. I'm going to keep it that way today. It's not about me in any way today. This is all about developing your years. So freebies, slide 2. There's some freebies that I'm giving away. So you've got your success blueprint. You've already had that. I've got an offer there to offer you a couple of free coaching sessions, or you may want to call it a clarity sessions or breakthrough sessions. There's a lot that we can do in these sessions. We can often get really good breakthroughs and just get some clarity there. So towards the end of the session, I'll add the link in here. Those who stop on to the end, I'll add the link and it'll be there. So you're very welcome to book yourself in. Also, anything in the chat today, I don't know if you know, I know a lot of people know Zoom now, but when you open the chat up, when you look at the message box at the bottom, the top right hand corner, you've got 3 dots. If you click on that, it will allow you to save the chat. So if there's anything in the chat you want to take out from here, you're very welcome to download it, and that's one way you can do that. And then the third point on there you can see is access to my VIP Facebook group. Julia, I know you don't like Facebook very much, but I'm willing to have a punt here and convert you over the weeks and months. But that VIP group is where all the good stuff happens. So I will add that to the chat later on as well, and we'll get you into there. So I've already warned you I like my quotes. Energy flows where attention goes are determined by intention. I do like this quote. It's a really good quote. It's very, very straightforward. It makes you, where you put your energy, where you put your attention is where the good stuff's going to happen. I know Tony Robbins claims this quote as his own, but it wasn't him, and I can't remember who it was first, but it just goes to show what it's all about. So next question for you all is, why do we set goals? Why is it important that we set goals?
Because of that quote.
Not because of the quote. Julia, you're going to make this afternoon really hard in our 50-minute
But it isn't.
relationship.
It's the quote tells us why we should set goals. The goals are us actually sitting down and thinking about what it is that we want to achieve, where we want to go. There are line in the sand, our flag on the mountain. And once you've got that, it's an awful lot easier to think about, okay, I'm at A, I want to get to B. What do I have to do to get there? And then once you know what you've got to do to get there, it is, of course, easier to go off and do that stuff.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. So, Julia, I'm guessing you're quite good at your planning. I'm guessing you've got plans in place. I don't want to call you out in front of everyone else. You can nod, shake your head. I mean, we can always do better planning is probably what I'm trying to say here. But so many people, as I said already, don't have plans.
Most of the plans are in my head, mainly because it's me and my husband, and there is a value to writing stuff down. And when I really need to write stuff down and really need to kick myself up the arse, then I'll do a written plan. On a day-to-day basis, I can keep it in my head and still keep focused.
Cool.
But the husband doesn't really respond to a written plan, so I am planning for me.
Do you know, I was thinking as you were saying that then, this is going to turn into like a therapy session for like two couples here. I really don't do relationships or therapy. I'm not the person for that in any way at all. The only thing I'd say, I think my view is it's always better to have it written down. I think it's quite stressful when it's in your head. I find it quite stressful for me because my brain's always working, trying to juggle these information and Kathy, you know, my memory's like, it can be like a sieve. Kids' names I forget most days. It's always better to have it written down. But it's all about having clear visibility, as you were saying, Julia. It's all about, where you want to go, create a plan. Most people just go through life reacting to everything around them and living by default. So many people don't have plans. I've never had a plan at all. And they wake up every day and that's what they're going to do. And they just go in week on week, month on month, and surprise, surprise, nothing ever changes for them. And it's really, really painful. And if you think about where we are right now, June 22, think about the last 2.5 years, what we've been through as an entire world. And, some places are still going through, some parts of China are in lockdown again. And it's just crazy. There's obviously learnings we can take away from this. And the one thing I'd say, the panic that was around in February and March 2020 was around people who hadn't planned or were panicking because they had no vision of where they wanted to go. And that's hopefully one of the major massive learnings that came out of it was we need to be planning better and having some plans in place that you can always update the plan and change the plan if you need to, but not having a plan is flipping difficult. So it's important to clarify exactly where you want, what you want and where you want to be and how you're going to get there so you live by design. What you've said already, Julia, absolutely. This is where I want to be. And then you work backwards, start with the end in mind and work backwards, and it just works really, really well. I will challenge you in where you want to be. So many people just don't have big enough plans or don't set big enough targets or dreams as well. And also the other thing to think about, it's not all about getting to the goal, it's about the journey that takes you there as well. So people seem to be very, very scared about setting big, audacious goals. One, they think they're not deserving of it. They don't like to brag. They don't think they're that good. And then they're often scared they're going to get there, which is just crazy. And I think that's where we all need to be able to support each other and hold ourselves accountable and just have those goals and dreams and just get cracking. Really, really do. So my plan for today are I'm going to work with you to create. I want you to have created your lifestyle design plan by the time we finish this session. And if you don't know what that means right now, I'll cover that with you as well. I also want your action planner created for 2022. And I want you to then be able to take those two documents and transform it into a vision board, which will help with the motivation on a day-to-day basis. Or if you're having a bad day, but a tough call, tough meeting, husband's been shouting at you. Not that you'd ever shout at anyone, Martin. I can't imagine that for a split second. But you know, these things happen from time to time. If you need that motivation, you go to your vision board. It's just amazing. And I will share towards the end of this my vision board, which needs a major upgrade, but I'll talk about that as well. The thing to remember is that success is 80% of your mindset and 20%, only 20% is the actual mechanics. So that tells you that if you have the right mindset, you have got much more chance of success and getting to where you want to go. So it's all about having that right mindset and keeping yourself motivated, because 80% is mindset and only 20% is the mechanics. That's what success looks like. There's tons of strategies about how you can get there, but I'm not going to cover them today. I will cover them in a later session. And I think for my working out today, I'm going to set up a follow-up webinar in about 3 weeks' time. I'll talk about strategies and growth strategies and how to get leads and whatever else. But it's not about the strategies. It's about how you think and how you feel about them. If you think a strategy is going to work for you, that it will work. If you think a strategy is not going to work for you, guess what? It's no surprise. It ain't going to work for you. Now, I talk about this all the time, and I tried not to talk about this with you really early, but I absolutely hate resolutions. And the reason I hate New Year's resolutions passionately every flipping year, and I sound like a grumpy old dog at the beginning of the year, is because majority of people don't ever think about planning or what they want to achieve in their life until the 1st of January. They then go and set these amazing resolutions, and then the stats tell you, statistics are out there that by the 19th of January, people have given up, they failed, and that's it. They don't bother again. They don't bother to set any more goals or any more resolutions. They wait until the next January the 1st, which to me is just crazy. They write off those 3 weeks, they do it, and then they're going to just wait for the rest of the year and not touch it, which is why I absolutely hate resolution. So, do you all have the success blueprint in front of you?
Yes.
Let me share my screen very quickly, and I will just walk you through it very, very quickly. So there's a few tweaks. Kathy, Martin had everything before, but I have made a few tweaks to it, so hopefully you can now see my success blueprint. So you've got 4 tabs. I'm only going to cover the first 2 today. So I'm going to cover the 12-month goals and the LDP. This is your 12-month goals and your action plan, and we'll cover that in a bit. Your LDP, or your lifestyle design plan, is this colourful thing here. Not quite big enough, would be there. So the bit I want to focus on today is around your number one dream, your number one goal for this year. I've got Alexa heckling me. Give me 1 second. No, it's still going. I have no idea what that kicks in. Purpose I will cover your top 3 business goals we'll get, and then it's all about bucket lists. Now, the point of this plan and the way it's laid out in this format is it's very, very trendy at the moment. Everyone talks about bucket lists and dreams and all this kind of stuff, but no one actually puts any thought into how they're going to get their stuff on their bucket list down into their here and now. And this is what I want you to achieve from here. So I will be asking you to start thinking about your bucket list. It might be something you've done already. You've got it out there. So I look at bucket lists in 2 ways. The stuff I want to complete this year. So over the next 6 months, stuff I want to complete, I should be populating here. And then my ultimate bucket list is the stuff I want to be completing over the next few years as well. So it's all about getting those dreams and ambitions down onto physical paper and not just holding them in your head. This I'm not going to cover, but I can cover with you one-on-one. Kathy, you've been through this with me as well. And then there's a brand new part on here, which is the daily task. But again, that'll be a future session we are going to cover. So you've got your plans in front of you, which is really, really cool. So what I want you to do right now is think about what do you want your biggest goal to be for the remainder of, well, for H2 2022. It doesn't have to be business related, but think about what you would like that biggest goal to be. It could be personal, it could be business. And when you've got something, pop it onto the LDP, and I think it's cell B3. So I'll give you a couple of minutes now and just think about, what is the biggest goal you want to achieve in the next 6 months? And just write something down in B3. You will find that when I call these things out and put you on the spot, and suddenly your brain goes really, really foggy. But the whole point is just to start writing something and getting something down. So if you can start thinking about that, I will give you a second. Always thinking, thought going on. As I've said to you already, it's not just about business. It's not just about business goals and being focused on that. It's about everything. I don't believe that it's possible to, well, for me, it's not possible to compartmentalize my life, as I just find that really, really stressful. Work-life balance and all that. Now I think it's 10 years old and more, and I think it's all the same thing. And that's how I find it entirely. So Kathy, you know me, Marty, you know me fairly well. The kind of stuff that I do and this kind of stuff that I'm teaching you today, it's the stuff that works for me. The stuff that I'm using on a day-to-day basis, and what I always do is going behind the scenes, lifting the lid up and showing you everything, the warts and all that works for me, and hopefully it works for you as well. Now, the other thing I'll say while you're just thinking about that biggest goal or dream you want to achieve over the next 6 months is another saying that I like out there is that if your goals aren't so big that they scare you, they probably aren't setting big enough goals for yourself as well. And it's not about setting yourself up to fail, which can be quite stressful and just stress people out. It's more about, you are more capable of achieving so much more than you'll probably ever realize as well. So does anyone want to share their top goal for this year? If you don't, I understand entirely. If you've got something out there, then by all means start sharing.
I've got 3.
Well, then hit me with them.
So between now and Christmas, I need to complete my house renovation. Because
I knew that's the one. Yeah, that's a huge one.
Yes. Yep. I've hooked up with an international consultancy firm that are starting to market my services. So I'd like to start delivery with 3 clients through them, which would make a massive difference. And I would like to get our None that services. So I'd like to get our None AG turnover back up to 8 grand a month.
Cool. Sounds good. Kathy, do you mind sharing yours? You're on mute still, Kathy. I need Martin to rush in.
Everything's changed, the look of everything. Even Zoom's all different now. How dare they change it without telling me? Yeah, exactly. I'll have to have words. Right. 3 things I put was to make £10,000 in the rest of the year, preferably more. To be debt-free and to expand my business. Haven't tied them down yet, but I'm working on it.
Thank you, Erin. I appreciate that. Martin, you want to share what you've got down?
Mine are a bit more on the personal level. I want to stress less and cover the bills and stay sane for a few months, because I'm very much the headless chicken at the moment. And the wheels do fall off that eventually in a spectacular manner.
Right, okay. Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you for sharing there. I'm sure we've all experienced from time to time on a regular basis that little voice of self-doubt that we hear, that whether it's on your shoulder, inside your head, and it happens for most people. And it's all about, the brain trying to protect you. And don't overthink things is what I would say. Is when you're thinking of these goals, you don't think about them too deeply. It's trust your heart, trust your gut, and go with the first thing that comes into your head to start you off. It feels like you've got those 3 down already quite clearly anyway. So that is cool. So the most important thing here is that we're doing something, is that we're taking action. This, Kathy, you know what I'm like. If people don't take action, people are really lethargic. It drives me crazy. It's all about doing something. I put a post out yesterday about any decision is better than nothing at all. Any decision is always going to be the right one. It's just the people who don't do anything at all. And what it's about is making the important decision right here, right now, that you want this year to be the best year of your life, and you want the best year of your business and the best year of your business lives. We all have to forget what's going on around the globe, in the news on a daily, hourly basis, wherever you are located, Somerset, Dudley, Birmingham, I'm up in Wolverhampton. The news is always doom and gloom, but don't allow the news to slow you down. I highly recommend people don't stop watching, listening to the news, consuming the news, stop reading papers. I tend to find out stuff off Twitter very, very quickly, but I don't sit watching it for hours and hours and hours. If you look anytime now, they're talking about recession, they're talking about inflation, a rise in prices, fuel prices, energy prices, petrol, diesel, the housing market's about to collapse. It's all so doom and gloom. But right now, especially the 4 of us on here, you all have the power in your hands to change your life and to do it right now. So as I've said already, I highly recommend stop watching the news and stop reading papers and just, focus on the positive stuff and not looking behind. And if you look over the past 2.5 years, I've mentioned it already, we've all flipped into survival mode due to the pandemic, the lockdowns. I'm not even going to mention the C word. But it's all about having a reframe in your mind and move our mindset into thrival mode. And it is very, very different. So you have to make a decision with your heart and not with your brain. Your heart is much wiser than your brain, but I'll talk about that in another session, not about today. Your heart starts beating before your brain is formed. And again, so when you're thinking about your biggest goals for this year, make sure it's coming from your heart. You will get that little self-doubting voice that's going to pop in your head, questioning where you are. Are you capable of doing this? Are you even deserving of this success? And you've got to block it out and learn to block it out. But again, I'm not going to cover that anymore in this session. It's something else that we do, and we discuss it later. But I want to focus on setting your goals. There are no right or wrong answers. And literally, as I've said a couple of times already, it's about trusting your gut instinct. Trust me, whenever I've made a bad decision or lost money because I've gone against my gut reaction, and it's cost me dearly, financially, emotionally over the years. Since I've stopped doing it, I've learned that listening to my gut and going with the gut, if it's telling me to not do things, I don't do it at all. Since I've started doing that, everything has been good. I've not made any bad decisions, lost money or anything like that at all. So the other thing about setting goals, it's not about chasing money. I'm not about the chasing money at all. But if you're making good money, 8,000, I heard of the number there, 10,000. If you are making good money, then it gives you choices to do good things with it. But it's never about chasing the money and being money motivated, because I think that's just a route. And it's a downward spiral. It just doesn't work out as well. So what I want to think about is how you can serve and help others, and that will make a massive difference. Rather than thinking about what you can take from a relationship and what you're going to make from that sale or that new client you take on, is think about how you can serve and how you can help them, and that will make a huge, huge difference. I'm sure you've all heard the starfish story. So I love the starfish story, and I've heard it in so many different guises over the years. Starfish story, very, very simply, and I'm not going to go into massive detail about it, is a father and son walking down the beach one morning, walking down the beach, I don't know, say it's Thailand, beautiful white sand, turquoise seas, lovely and warm, just like where it is, wherever we are right now. And they see there's thousands and thousands and thousands of these blue starfish that are being washed across all over the beach. And like the father's looking at them, the dad's looking at them with his mouth open, aghast, never seen such a sight in his life. and just stand there staring at all these beautiful starfish on the beach, all dying in the baking and drying out in the hot sun. And what his son does, without any hesitation, he goes up, picks up this beautiful blue starfish in both his hands and drops it into the sea really, really carefully. And his son, the father's, why the heck have you done that for? What's the point? You're never going to be able to save all of them. And the son turns around and says, no, but it's made a difference to that one. And I think that's the way we've got to look in life, of how we can help people, how we can serve people and making a difference, one person at a time. You can change one life at a time and build on that. That's what it's all about. Now, you've created your headline goal for 2022, for the remainder of 2022. So I was telling you to think, to double it if you can. Think big. If you're looking for 8K a month, let's go for 16, let's go for 20. There's no reason why. Why not? And the trouble is not that we set goals too big and we don't hit them. The problem is that we actually set goals so low we actually achieve them. And I see that in human nature all the time. Humans, by their very nature, we make our minimums our maximums and we just coast along. Who can relate to just coasting along? Stick your hand up if you agree, because trust me, I have this too, and it's something I have to work on all the time. So I've already said to you, it's not about achieving the goal as a primary focus. It's about the journey along the way and how we achieve it. Now, there are two parts here. What is your goal? But also think about why you want to achieve this goal. So what is your why? And again, there's a space on the LDP, on the lifestyle design plan for your why. Cells, I think it's B7, 8, and 9. And over the next couple of minutes, just jot down what your why is and why you're doing what you are doing, your reasons why. So, what do we have more control over? What you can get or what you can give? Obviously, it's always what we can give. You can control to a degree what you get, but you have much more control and ability to control on what you give. So I will shut up for a second and just type in your why, B7, 8, and 9, the reasons why you're doing what you're doing. And don't worry, I can be very, very personal when I ask you to share.
I've already done it.
Cool.
Before you
Thank
ask
you
me
very
why I'm
much.
not typing.
I wasn't going to question you. I'm also using one screen as well, so everything's always all over the place. Okay, so if I go back and I share my presentation, let's go back to where we were. Okay, so hopefully you started to jot down your reasons about your why. Again, just to further cover this in a bit more detail, it's where I see people go wrong and get very, very stressed out, end up living unhappy and unfulfilled lives due to the fact they're focusing purely on what they can get and not what they can give. And it does change the energies and everything else around there. So it's all about, what we can do. So I've told you, I've warned you already, I like a good quote. So again, I love this one. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. And that was Muhammad Ali many years ago. And I think it's just a really cool one, which encapsulates everything I'm saying about serving as opposed to what you can get. People forget along the way to be thankful for what they have. Okay, so okay, so what I want you to do now is we're going to start on the 12-month goal. So tab 1, what I want you to do is in column A is to go across and think of 3 goals you want to achieve over the next 12 months, with 6 months to the next 12 months around financial. I want you to think about 3 goals around health, 3 goals around relationships, 3 goals around lifestyle, 3 goals around mindset, and then 3 goals around the spiritual. And this is, I'll give you 5 minutes to do so. Pop them all in column A under the various headers. Yeah, so again, you get that brain fog, start just typing down and it will get easier and it will start to flow for you. We're looking for the top goals to start with. And then if you can start getting this worked on now and start to develop, then after you finish the assessment today, you can then go away and just work on it and finish it off completely. But as I say, don't overthink it and just try and get 3 for each practically if you can. Let me think. So financial. So the first one being financial, it could be that you want a certain amount of money. You want to be earning a certain amount of money a month. Perfect. You want a certain amount of money, either yours or the business bank account or both. I've already talked about, it's not about being money motivated, but the money there will help you do good things with. Health could be around, you want to lose X amount of kilos, you want to increase fitness, you want to be healthier. Take up sports, take up exercise. Relationships could be stuff like, you want a family trip to Disney, you want to get married. Lifestyle could be some examples there. On mine, I've got a hot air balloon flight, which has been cancelled again due to the bad weather. 12 months later, we'll get this done this year if it kills me. Canoeing, it could be things like, motorhome, jump in a motorhome and travel around the Scottish coast. It could be traveling. Mindset's normally quite an easy one for people, or spiritual. Now, spiritual means different things to everyone. I would say things like meditation. So one of my spiritual goals for this year is around meditating X amount of times per week for X amount of minutes. Things like yoga. It's something I'm not being particularly consistent with. I need to get that improved on. So as I say, I will shut up for a few minutes and I'll leave you to get your 12-month goals written in. While you're doing that, I will make some notes on here, which I will share. But my spelling comes out really badly. Again, it doesn't matter what you put here because it's just for you, not for anyone else. And the whole idea is this one page will be your year planner. A minute or so and we'll move on.
Are you not really intrigued about what people are writing?
Some people, I would never put people on the spot to show me or show the group, but often, like with Kathy, no doubt we'll catch it in the next week and we'll go through them. And you're very welcome to share, Julie, if you'd like to.
I'm just, yeah, I'm more than happy to share. There's nothing in here that I wouldn't. yeah, it's just, I know that if I was doing this activity, it's like, what are you putting?
I think I'd never like putting people on the spot, and I think the first time people do it, and I've seen this time and time again, is that it's set quite small goals, and then the more they do it, the more they refresh it or enhance it, it gets bigger and better all the time, and it gets better. I mean, the only other thing, I'll just show you the basics now. So when you've done that, the aim then is to take the cells, and so my financial one here, for example, demo one is 10K in the business accounts. How long does that take me to get there? Let's say that will be 3 to 6 months. I'm gonna pop that there. My health, I put down personal PT sessions a week. I want 3 personal PT sessions a week. So I know that's going to be quite instant. So I'll put that there. Trip to Thailand. That's going to
You're putting that in about 4 places.
Trust me, you haven't seen the end of it yet. Just wait till the next page. Hot air balloon. Well, this hot air balloon's been turned into a bit of a joke. But it will happen, and I would say in the next 2 months that will happen. Meditation. That's gonna be instant. So I'm gonna paste that. Ooh, there. It's all going so well. Go on myself. There we are. So basically, what we've done is once you've got those goals in the categories in column A, you then disperse them around. So you're looking here at row 2. What can you do in the 0 to 4 weeks? The instant. What can you do in 5 to 8 weeks? What can you do 9 to 12 weeks? What can you do 3 to 6 or 6 to 12 months? And again, just having those goals there, when you look at it, you can see. So right now, column B, this is stuff I need to be working on now. Let's get that done. And half an eye on the next category as well. So, what are these goals? What do we need to be doing now? You can see I've just put a few demos in there. 9 to 12 weeks, I haven't got anything, or I haven't got anything longer term right now, but that's just a demo version. So, Julie, by all means, do you want to share?
So in terms of finances, all 3 of them are 12-month ones. So it's more by 12 months time. I'd like to have 10 clients by this new scheme that I have starting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to still be earning 8 grand a month on the none work. And we deliver recruitment support services. So I'd like 20 new ongoing recruitment support clients as part of that. So it's kind of talking about how I want to hit that target.
Okay.
In terms of the health, over the next year, I'd like to lose 2 stone.
Okay.
I want to make sure I walk the dog every day. I want to play squash every week.
Nice.
In terms of relationships, I'd like to meet somebody new who's going to come and work for me.
I wondered what you were going to say there.
Yeah, like a new staff member.
I held my breath too as well then, yeah. You want a new husband, yeah? Brilliant. Sorry.
Tempting some days, but then he could say the same thing about me. And yeah, I'd like to start working with a new coach. And I'd like to spend more time seeing friends. I think that's the big thing from COVID is you don't see people that are more kind of geographically dispersed than you used to. So it's getting back into that. I'd like to be able to work 4 days a week. I want to organise a big party for our silver wedding anniversary in January. And as part of that, we've been talking about booking a big holiday for next year. So I want to actually book that and get that in the diary. I'm feeling quite meh at the moment. So mindset goal is to get rid of the meh. I don't want to let anxiety back into my life. It was quite a big thing a few years ago. It's not there at the moment. It's not coming back.
Good.
I'm very aware as part of the meh, I've talked myself out of things that I was doing before that were working in terms of finding clients and growing the business, and I need to talk myself back into that good practice. So that's very much mindset. And then spiritually, I've taken up bell ringing in the last few weeks.
That's cool.
Really enjoying it, and it's the first time I've had a proper hobby. So I want to keep going with that and see where that goes. I want to continue to feed my seahorse, which is the hippocampus in my brain, which is about positive thoughts, creating that positive energy. And I've decided redesigning my garden is going to be a spiritual activity.
Yeah, fair play.
Cheeky misfile.
I love it. So, a couple of questions. Bell ringing. Is that the handbells?
No, church bells.
Church. Oh, it's the big. Oh, wow, that's amazing.
The
That's
big
really cool.
bongs.
The big bong. There's a name for it. I can't think what's it called. What's the term for it? Bell
Campanology,
ringing.
but it's bonging in my house.
Bonging. You're right about the COVID thing about friends and social stuff. You know, we all had these great. The world changed over that, and everything was so much happier, and everyone was so much more living in the moment. And my dream at the time was, I hope this doesn't go back to the old ways. And I think again, it's a case of we have to realize it's not the same. We've got to do stuff about it, make it work. But yeah, there's some good ones. I like that. Kathy, do you want to share any of yours, or Martin?
Yeah. Do you want to do yours, Martin?
Hold on, I was trying to find the unmute button. It's like, where is it? Where is it? Well, I mean, they're fairly standard. You know, within 6 months, it would be nice to be debt free, and within 12 months, I'd like to expand the business. I'd like to keep the business going within the 6 months, but it'd be nice to expand it. But it's still, as Rich knows when he talked to us, my problem is still trying to get people to think that what they need to spend with me is actually beneficial or is going to get more back, which they will, but it's quite an uphill struggle because it's a fair old wad of money, even though it's perfectly claimable for a business if you have enough turnover. It's a perfectly allowable cost, and with the R&D tax credits you can even get some of that back yourself anyway, but it's a lot of hassle, and a lot of times they don't want to do that. I'd like to get back into the meditation that we were doing before. That's quite nice. And going back to the gym a bit would be nice too, because that seemed to drop off a cliff in COVID. So you think, oh, I could do with tightening up a few things. But they're all fairly straightforward. I mean, the other thing would be nice to, because I like the cooking that we do here, that we did as part of Slimming World. It'd be nice to do some more of our cooking videos that we were looking at, because they're quite fun. Basically, they consist of Kathy and I cooking, where I do a lot of the prep, Kathy does a lot of the cooking, and I just wander around offering to add alcohol and more chili flakes and things to the food. And Kathy keeps telling me not to. It's interesting to watch because we have such a laugh.
He's terrible.
Dinner time sounds amazing. That house. The gym is a great one, Martin, to get back into that routine, because it helps in so many levels, and it's stress levels and clears the brain and everything else. And it's just a great one on many, many levels. Cool. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Kathy, anything you want to share? I feel like you're still working on it.
I keep changing things. You know what I'm like. I'd like to have like £50,000 in my business bank account, so I don't have to make everything such a considered decision. Can I really afford that? Do I have to pay for that rather than the business? So that would be nice. And I don't know what the second thing is, because I put it somewhere else. Now I can't find it. Ultimately, I'd like to employ like a VA or somebody to do all the social media stuff. That's like emailing all those LinkedIn people and telling them to get over to Eventbrite, which just takes forever. Health-wise, 5 years ago, I lost 7 stone with Slimming World. and I'd like to lose it again because I've put quite a bit of it back on. And now, as Martin knows, I'm having so much trouble with my knee, walking anywhere. And again, the same one, to get back to swimming regularly. See, when Martin used to go to the gym, I used to go swimming. He'd plug my earphones in and pound up and down the pool. So we haven't been for such a long time. So I'd like to do that. So I'd also like to have a holiday in Vegas, to take weekend breaks, a bit like you do. You're my inspiration for that. Lovely weekend breaks. Yes, I like Pussycat. To learn to drive is one of my things. I think you remember it's on my original list.
Absolutely.
And to have,
I certainly do.
buy a new car.
Oh yes.
Yeah, mindset to be happy again and to be more confident, because the things that have been going on, it just absolutely sorry, my phone's ringing. Just absolutely destroys you slowly over time. It's,
Right. Okay.
you know, and that was
Okay.
I haven't got anything under spiritual yet. I'm working on that
I
one.
can imagine you, Kathy, in Vegas. I can imagine you. Have you been to Vegas already?
What's the matter with you? What's the matter, Martin? Why are you shaking your head?
Remember what I said about if we have a big lottery win, we agreed Kathy doesn't get her hands on the money until I've put some in savings account. Because I said of all the people I know, I love her for it, but of all the one that could go rags to riches and back again, but what a roller coaster, would probably be Kathy. She's really good at that.
What an amazing 6 months, Kathy, you could have in Vegas, all those millions.
Wow.
Absolutely.
It would be
amazing.
wonderful,
It's a great
wouldn't it?
place.
It would be fantastic.
It's a great place. It's where I highly recommend. It's been a long time since I was there, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're making good progress now. So next slide. These are the 3 tasks. So after we finish today, you've made a dent in your 12-month planner. We're going to start working a bit now on the LDP. And then the one you won't get a chance to do today, but is go and create a vision board. Vision boards are amazing. If you'd come to me 2 years ago, I would have laughed at it, but I've seen the difference a vision board had on me. And, as I said, I will share mine in a second anyway. And we're going to talk about, bucket list and getting those bucket list experiences on there. So live life by design and all experiences you want to achieve. So if I go back onto the LDP, jumping around here, I do apologize. Okay, so next tab, LDP. What I want you to do here now is to have a few minutes and just think about bucket list stuff you want to achieve this year. So bucket list stuff for me, when I did mine beginning of the year, was things like I want to be able to drive a Tesla by the end of the year. I've been dabbling with electric cars and loved the whole greenness, and especially the petrol prices and diesel prices going through the roof. Electric cars have been amazing. I then took my car back before I went to Thailand, and I've come back and I spent towards one while I was away and I forgot, and I'm completely carless again at the moment, so probably will be for the next month or so. I've got on my bucket list that has been there for a long time, and again, I'm sorry to talk about Thailand again, but I want to spend 3+ months in Thailand towards the end of this year and live out the worst of the winter while it's there summer, and just have that and miss all the snow and the frosty dark mornings and all that good stuff. And again, when you're doing your bucket list, which you're going to be doing now, is don't worry about how you're going to achieve these. And another way to help you once you've got your bucket list created and help continue the motivation is to create a bucket list album on Facebook. So Kathy and Martin know you two are on Facebook more. You can have a bucket list on your Facebook for stuff that you want to do, and then have a second bucket list album for stuff you've actually done as well. So that way you're sharing it out there, but also it's holding you accountable as well. So if I give you a few minutes, do you want to just start jotting down stuff in your bucket list, and we'll share that in, say, 5 minutes? While you're doing that, I'm going to go and grab a drink. Won't be a second.
Ooh, you just
That cat seems to get bigger and bigger every time I see it.
I wouldn't mind, but this is Martin's cat. My cat is on my chair, my office chair. I'm sitting on a hardback dining room chair because the cat's got the posh one.
you could, of course,
Wow.
set some boundaries for the cat and turf it.
Nah. Too cute, too cute.
Kicked out in the garden and closed the door. Anyway, that's not talking about our own pets.
How cruel. They just sit
isn't it?
outside and howl till we let them in.
I'd get kicked out.
So
for
how
a
are we getting
cat.
on with bucket lists?
I've made
Yeah, I
it
can
to
imagine
7.
Martin. Still you're paying. Oh, have you? That's really good, actually. That's really good from a starting point. Do you want to share a couple?
Okay, so I want to be able to ring rounds, which is a technical bell ringing thing. It's the stage 1 of playing a tune when bell ringing.
Right, okay.
So I am already booked, so this one is definitely happening, to go to the Austrian Grand Prix with my son in a couple of weeks.
Very cool.
Very cool indeed. Yes. I want to book to have another holiday with my husband in the autumn. Yes, apparently that's now happening. Then we've got the house renovation, garden renovation. I'd like to pick up at least one international client.
Yep.
And yeah,
Like it. Like it, like it, like it. So, okay. Martin or Kathy, have you got anything you want to share on your bucket lists?
I've got one because when Martin and I were working out our honeymoon many, many years ago, we came up with this holiday where we flew into San Francisco and we drove along the coast in some RV type thing and flew out from Vegas.
nice.
And I'd still really like to do that.
That
Yeah.
sounds very cool.
So I've got that on my ultimate list.
Nice. Okay. Martin, anything from you?
The holiday would be very nice. Get rid of the debts, having a holiday and
Yeah.
being calm in life a little bit more, or not
Yeah.
not so much calm as just not as stressed, so you can look at things in a better way.
Absolutely. It does change the way of looking at things. Okay, so then, as you can see, the stuff on your bucket list, you then drag across to your vision board. Has anyone done a vision board before? Yeah? No? Julie, have you ever done a vision board before?
I haven't.
I spent hours on Canva.
Oh, see, yeah. This is where we start geeking off now.
You told me to do.
Absolutely. It's all right, I'll take the blame. It's absolutely fine. This is my vision board I created back in January of this year. So most people know, like Kathy, I hate paper. Kathy, you love paper. I don't do paper. I haven't done paper for 10 plus years. Everything's electronic. So as Kathy's already said, you can create these on Canva really easy. We're all different. Some people like paper and pen. I get it. So, I've seen some amazing ones on flip chart paper. And then I've seen them, stuck on the wall ahead of where you're working. So as you're working all day long, you've got your vision board in front of you. Mine are, I've got it on my desktop and I look at it a couple of times a day, at least morning and afternoon. So if I just flick through very, very quickly, my vision board is Greece. I haven't been to Greece for a long, long time. We're going in September for a week in Crete. I haven't been forever. This is Budapest. I was looking to go to Budapest in May, which was amazing. This is about increasing my fitness levels and getting my dodgy back sorted out, which is, touch wood, making some good progress. This is about the amount of money, or X amount of money in the business account, which is making good tracks. Costa Rica, I'd love to spend some time in Costa Rica. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to bump this into the early part of 2023, but I quite fancy Mexico, Costa Rica, like Central America. I think it'd be really, really cool. Tesla, the idea is by the end of the year. I'm not going to buy one, I'm going to rent one, but they are pricey, but I just think it'd be very, very cool. The fast chargers and all that good stuff. Last year, I was lucky enough, well, the last 2 years actually, last year we hired, this was me last year, we'd hired this motorhome around the North Coast 500 around Scotland. Amazing. I did it the year before in a car. It was just so much better doing it in a camper van. It was so much more luxurious and much more comfortable. I'd like to be able to buy a motorhome so I think I've got the flexibility to be able to do this kind of stuff as well. Canoeing, I had a canoeing present bought for me for Christmas. And then we were laughing about canals around the Black Country, or let's maybe save it to go back to Thailand and the sea and whatever else. It might be a bit better, so a bit warmer anyway, less trolleys. This is a picture I took in Bangkok 3 years ago when I was there. Trust me, I was laughing earlier looking at that. This is the best picture I could find of Thailand. This is not the greatest place to go to, but that was a picture I took back in December 2018 when I went there for the first time. I've already been once, as I've said already, and the plan is to go towards the end of this year. And I'd love to be able to do a couple of months, 2 to 3 months out there. And then this magical hot air balloon flight, which was bought for me as a 50th present last year. I then ended up breaking my hand and I wasn't able to fly because they wouldn't insure me. And then it was the weather and we lost the season. I didn't fancy doing it in the winter. So it is due to be happening in the next couple of months, and I can't wait for that. So just an easy way of setting up a vision board is just getting the main goals on there and use it as a motivation tool for you. And they do really work. So I highly recommend you get a vision board created. It will be your homework over the next couple of nights, and I do want to see them. So if you create a paper version, that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to judge it. Just send me a picture. It's fine. If you've got a Canva version, just stick it on an email, put it in Messenger, and share that with me, and that will be amazing. Cool. So, what's next? So that's that. Let me share the presentation. We are fast approaching the end, don't you worry. Okay, so one more quote. You know what I'm like. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Napoleon Hill. So again, it's all about setting those targets that are big targets, and if it's there, you can conceive it, you believe it, and the mind, you will achieve it. That's what it's all about. And then, do we have any other questions? Is there anything, any burning questions from what you've seen today? Anything you want to know, or we haven't come across? It's been interactive. I appreciate that for your time. Thank you for that. Is there anything else you want to know, or any questions, or any? You know, what's the big takeaway? What's the takeaway? The biggest thing you're going to take away from today's session? I'll be always interested to hear that.
I just found it really useful in terms of, yeah, just sorting my head out. I suppose it makes your point around, but it's always easier when somebody is making you.
Yeah.
I don't know about anyone else. It's really tough to just sit down with a blank piece of paper and take your own medicine and do this stuff that's in your head. And given how quickly we managed to do it, the stuff was in our head. But it is something that is always easier when someone makes you. So thank you for making
me. Chinese burns. No, you're very welcome. I think I don't complicate anything. For me, I want to keep it simple, stupid. It's always about that. And the more complicated it is, the harder, the more detailed it is, the less you're going to want to use it. And people create these plans and never ever open them again. So at least if you've got it on a one-pager, it just works. It's so easy, and it just makes it just so much easier and better. So yeah, I appreciate the feedback, and then take it out of your head and keep sticking them onto the spreadsheet, and it will help you no end. So Kathy, you've seen it before. I believe you did it back in January with the first time I did it. So anything different from here? Any aha moments?
It was really quite spooky that you did this, because I've been looking at mine thinking I really need to update this. Things have changed, direction of what I'm doing, whatever. And then you came along with this workshop, and now I'm on the case, and I'm changing and I've updated it.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Martin?
I think I really need to write things down not more as a system or a plan, but then the other end of it is you need to measure what you're doing with it afterwards, because it's the only way you're going to know if it's really working. So if I can write things down and then measure the results, whether it works or not, but at least you've got something more quantifiable, because otherwise it's all very much how long is a piece of string with a lot of things, and it doesn't work very well that way.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. So last slide, you'll be glad to know 5 past 5, that's doing all right. You've got your success blueprints, you've got them now, and it's a tool, a working document for you to carry on and just keep filling in the gaps. You've made some good progress today, but now you've seen, as you've already said, Julie, you're absolutely right. The minute you start doing it, the information's there, it's just making it more complete. But then also is don't sit on it. You need to continue using it and keep updating it and make it a living, breathing document, and that will help you so much more. The 2 free coaching sessions, you're very welcome. Kathy, I think we're going to be talking tomorrow anyway, which is great, but I'll pop the link in here. And if anyone wants it, you there, I'll chuck it in. If you want to treat it as a breakthrough session, more than happy. Martin to catch up again. Julia, not a problem at all. Let me just close that, and I'll pop it in the chat. That's the site. It's dead easy to use. Click on that, and you should be able to schedule. If you go through to the second page, you can actually schedule in there and then as well. So, choose a time that works for you. I'm more than happy to have a couple of sessions and see what we can do and see what we can achieve over there. And then I will pop in the link for the VIP Facebook group. Kathy and Martin, I think you were both in it. Julie, I couldn't find you earlier when I was looking for you on Facebook. So if you want to,
I did tell you that I was buried.
Yeah, there's a lot of Julia stocks out there. So I gave up after. I was like, oh, you know what? Actually, I did the wrong person. And that's it. So homework, as you know, will be to get your vision boards created in the next few days and share with me. And it's as simple as that. Keep working on your plans and affairs. Use it as a living document, and all will be good. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it as always. I hope you found that very, very useful. If you've got any questions, guys, you've got my details. I will be in contact with you anyway. Just drop us a message, reach out to me, and I will help wherever I possibly can. Have an amazing Wednesday evening, and I look forward to catching up with you soon.